Today's video is going to be extremely exciting. I'm gonna be setting myself a near impossible challenge. I have been digitally painting primarily for the past couple of weeks because even though I like working in different types of media, I personally need to focus on one specific medium to be able to grow in it. So if I'm constantly bouncing between traditional and digital media, it's harder for me to learn and get into the workflow and to warm up for my pieces and to create the best work possible. So for the past couple of weeks, I have been honing my skills with digital painting, and I've been seeing a lot of improvement, and I'm really happy about the progress that I've made. I think the exception to this is that I'm always pencil drawing. I love to draw in my sketchbook, so I usually have two mediums rotating: digital and pencil, watercolor and pencil, etc. The blue door, I have a bunch of my art supplies and just art studio equipment. And so while I was looking in there, I found my set of Himi Gouache. I thought, let's use it again. I was using this regularly probably around 2 years ago, and the palette had completely dried out. I had seen online that you can revive the paints. So I watered all the paints, let them sit overnight, mixed them, let them sit again overnight, and they have been working pretty well. If you can see right behind me, I just made a little gouache painting of tomatoes for my mantelpiece. The video is going to be linked down below. I've just been interested in getting back into this palette. I was thinking about what video idea to incorporate for using these gouache paints because I wanted to do something maybe fun, interesting, creatively challenging, and I had a little fleeting thought where I was thinking these paints are made for students to be practicing and growing with these paints. They're relatively affordable and good quality for the price and for their use. I just had a little thought, how long will this set last you? How many paintings can you make with this set? And then I spiraled. The tiny thought that I had has demonstrated that it's probably going to take over my life because I purchased this set of paints. So the set that I originally had, as you can see, they're different pinks. This original set was 18 colors and this set was 24. The reason I chose this 24 set instead of the 18 when purchasing a new set was because they were about the same price and there are a couple more colors with some white mixed in there. We'll talk a little bit about my thoughts and my goals for this video, but I wanted to buy a new set because I used my old set on countless paintings and also I had to revive them. So I'm not quite sure if they were the exact same as a brand new set of paints. The challenge for this set of paints is how many paintings can I create with this set of paints? Let's open this up real quick. It comes with a white mixing palette, which is really nice, and a set of 3 brushes that are synthetic as opposed to the more coarse bristle-haired brushes that came with the first Himi set. Here's one of the little jelly cups. The very first way to think about this challenge is to use up every single jelly cup. And as I thought of that a little bit more, I realized there are colors that I don't usually use in my paintings, and also the fact that in this one set with 24 colors, there's literally only one white paint. For this concept and theory to work, I came back to the fact that this set is cheap and has a lot of paints for one specific reason: for students to use them and to have relatively good quality paints for an affordable price so that they can practice. So the conflict in this video came of when your white runs out and you have nothing to lighten your paints, is this palette completely unusable? I have a couple of rules that I have laid out for myself with this palette. I'm going to show you the unboxing and show you my very first painting in this process, but first off, I want to say thank you so much to the sponsor of this video, which is Skillshare. You may know Skillshare from its classes on photography, video editing, even art process and art creation, but Skillshare also has hundreds of career-focused classes to help boost your creativity into an actual financial career for yourself. I've been using Skillshare for years. Personally, I wanted to recommend a class to you by Lauren Hahn. It's called Creative Productivity: Build a Brief to Boost Your Passion Project. I think this class has really helped gear me up for the whole project that I'm working on in this video with my gouache paints, because she has so many tips and worksheets on figuring out the message and the creative direction that you want for a personal project. I've been filling out these worksheets with my personal goals for my gouache painting journey ahead of me. There is no goal that is too small for you to be learning and growing in. I'm personally not an organically creative person, so classes like Everyone is Creative, 5 Exercises to Reconnect with Your Inner Creativity by Allison Kohler inspire me and set me up for success in my own art creation. If you have goals to make your art a full-time career, to attract more clients, Skillshare can be one of the best resources for you to find those answers and that inspiration. I have a lovely offer for you guys. The first 1,000 people to use the link in my description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. They are so aligned with my channel and I cannot be happier to recommend them to you. The structure of this challenge is I'm going to be painting with these paints regularly the way that I usually would, not wasting too much paint just to get through the paint, but also washing off my palette the way that I usually would if I want to start over, if I don't want to use any of the colors that are on the palette. I'm going to check in once my white runs out, which my hypothesis is that my white will run out pretty quickly and I will have a majority of the paints left in this palette. That way I can talk about how many paintings I've made with just this palette that you can buy on Amazon for like $24, $26. With just these paints, how much can you actually create? But to be fair, the likelihood that you're gonna completely throw out this palette once the white is gone, that's pretty unlikely. And so what I did was I bought this little tub of the Himi Gouache titanium white. This is supposed to hold about 6 jelly cups. That's what the listing says, and this is a $12 or $13. It kind of sucks if the real price of this set is gonna be $40 because you need to buy this gouache separately. However, you might really enjoy this set. There will be a check-in when the white runs out and I will be refilling with this pot until I finish a majority of these colors. I'm sure that there's going to be a point where there's a little bit left in a couple of cups, but it's just not going to be a usable amount of paint or a color scheme or something that just will not make sense for painting. One thing that I do want to say is that I'm going to try my very hardest to use up as many of the different paint colors as possible because I have a pretty specific color palette or colors that I do love working with in my paintings. I'm going to be using some online color palette generators to help me in creating some interesting color combinations, things that I might not usually go for, because I want to also be learning. I have 3 goals for myself for this challenge. One is, as I said, come up with unusual color combinations, learn about colors in that sense. My second goal is to be better at traditional painting because I have only been focusing on digital recently. My traditional painting skills have kind of waned a tiny bit, and so I would love to get back into an efficiency with traditional painting. And my third goal is to be better at painting still life. I'm going to try to limit the amount of pressure I'm going to put on myself to create beautiful paintings because this is a student set and it's for practicing. I want to embody that mindset and to learn from this process, so I will not be pressuring myself to create finished beautiful pieces with these paints because these paints are not necessarily light fast. They're not something that I would necessarily be comfortable selling. You let me know your thoughts. What do you think of selling pieces that are not light fast? For example, marker pieces are not light fast and will never be. Sometimes some pieces are not going to be light fast and you just need to preserve them or display them with UV protective glass. Let me know your thoughts. I really am 50-50 on how I feel about this topic, but because I'm going to be spending God knows how long with these paints, I do want to stick to a specific theme for my paintings, and that's going to be fairy/garden themed. Because I'm going to be spending so much time, it would be amazing to have a cohesive body of work that maybe I could make into a zine or just put together, have a cohesive collection of pieces with the same medium, with the same theme. Garden allows me to still paint nature scapes, to also paint fruit and vegetables in still life form, and I'm personally so curious as to how many pieces I'm gonna be painting with this. So for reference, I have bought 6 of the Canson XL watercolor pads, the 11 by 15 inch size. Michael's had a pack deal online for them, which was a really good price. I think it was around $64, so just over $10 a piece. And I know I like that paper. I know I'm not gonna be too precious with it. I'm not gonna stick to any other supplies other than the paints. Like, I'm not gonna force myself to use these brushes. I'm gonna use whatever brushes I want. I'm gonna use whatever paper I want. So maybe if my skills improve, I'm feeling confident, I might bust out my Arches paper. Who knows? those. I know that I like the Canson XL paper. I know that I can throw it away easily without feeling anything, but I also can paint nice pieces on it, and it has this durability, and I don't feel that the paper pulps up on me when I'm painting, so I am pretty confident with that choice of paper generally. One last thing to mention for my haul is that I bought these empty masking tapes. The reason I picked up specifically these is because Mossery has one of these tapes in its Sibylline collection, and I absolutely love that masking tape. I haven't found a masking tape that I like quite as much as it. I totally ran out of it. I've purchased myself more empty tapes, and hopefully they're just as good as the one that is in her set. I know that the qualities of these paints are not 100% aligned with what I'm looking for in my paintings. One of the things I don't love about this set that I already know is I don't love how matte they are. Paintings that have a little bit more of a matte chalky finish, they're not chalky in texture when you touch them, but they do look a little bit more chalky. That's something I know I don't love about this set. I would say that's one small negative in a sea of pretty big positives. This very first painting goes against a lot of the goals I set for myself in this challenge, because I tried to achieve as perfect of a result as possible, and I have not used these paints in such a long time where I haven't painted a portrait and I'm not used to it. I totally struggled with it. Because I struggled so much and was working with these paints the way I would try to work with my digital media, I was kind of frustrated. One of the biggest downsides for me when recording my process is that I am, gonna be honest, pretty blind. I would be considered illegally blind if it wasn't for glasses. I have a -5 in both eyes. One way that I draw and paint, it's probably not great, but I hold my drawings up like an inch or two from my eyes, and it helps me focus in on the details. When I'm recording, obviously I don't want my head to be in frame and I want the shots to be as nice as possible, so this can sometimes cause some frustration in the painting process. And that's just an added variable when working with a new medium like this one, so I ultimately decided to turn off the recording for a second and focus on the painting. I lifted all the gouache from where I was painting the blouse, and as I said, this paper is great. It doesn't pulp up on me, at least the way that I use it, and I managed to come up with an end result that I do like. I like this painting and I'm proud of it. I think that this is not the way I'm going to be painting every single piece in this challenge, because that is just not sustainable. I can't be spending like 7 hours on every single painting. This painting definitely withstood the pressure of being the first painting with a new set of Himi Gouache also being recorded for this video. All the variables were wrong. But my plan in the future is to work in a little bit of a different manner. We'll see how I adapt to this medium and to the process. And I really hope to see a lot of improvement in my paintings, the way that I saw improvement in my 100 heads in 10 days challenge. That video is also going to be linked down below because I'm so proud of it and I want you to watch it. Let me know what you think about this piece and how I did for my first painting back into gouache after over a year of not using them. Do you want to see regular updates on these paints? Do you want to see videos dedicated to paintings I've made with the Himi Gouache? So a lot more Himi Gouache content on my channel in the next couple of weeks and months? Or would you just want me to save all of that footage into one like 40-minute long video where I finish the paints and it's, you know, a lot more of a thesis? Let me know what you prefer. Let me know how many paintings you think I'm gonna complete with this set. Let me know if any of my parameters or rules are wonky or you think they could be better, because I can totally adjust the way I'm thinking about this challenge. It's gonna be crazy. I'm so excited for it because I haven't quite started it, but I think I'm gonna be so full up of Himi by the end of this challenge, or hopefully I'll be amazing at them and it'll be my new favorite medium. So we'll see. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe because I'd love to see you hang out and to join my art journey on YouTube. Be sure to follow me on Instagram because I am surely going to be posting my process for these Himi Gouaches regularly, much more regularly than I would on YouTube. If you want to keep up with me, keep up to date, and to know what I'm doing on a daily basis, you can follow me on my Instagram. Everything is going to be linked down in the description as well as this set. I will talk to you guys in my next video.